June 18, 1815. Napoleon Bonaparte stands on a ridge in Belgium, watching the rain fall. He's 45 years old. He's conquered most of Europe. He's won more battles than any general in history. He's been Emperor of France, been exiled, escaped, reclaimed his throne in a bloodless march that took 100 days. And now he's back, one last time, facing a British army commanded by the Duke of Wellington and a Prussian army that's supposed to be miles away. By sunset, one of three things will happen. Napoleon destroys the British and rules Europe again. Or Wellington holds until the Prussians arrive. Or Napoleon loses everything. This isn't just a battle. This is the finale, the last act. The day that decides whether Napoleon Bonaparte is remembered as the greatest general who ever lived, or the man who lost it all. Spoiler alert, he's about to fight the most famous battle in history, and lose. Let me show you how 12 cavalry charges, 1 farmhouse, and 1 arrival of Prussians ended 23 years of war. To understand Waterloo, you need to understand how insane the last year has been. April 1814. Napoleon is forced to abdicate after losing the War of the Sixth Coalition. The man who conquered Europe is exiled to Elba, a tiny Mediterranean island. The Bourbon monarchy is restored in France under Louis XVIII. Napoleon is supposed to be finished. Done. A historical footnote. He lasts 10 months. February 26, 1815. Napoleon escapes Elba with 1,000 men and lands in France. The Bourbon government sends an army to arrest him. Napoleon walks up to them, alone, opens his coat. Soldiers of the 5th Regiment, if any of you wish to kill your emperor, here I am. The soldiers cheer. Join him. March on Paris. Every army sent to stop him defects to his side. Louis XVIII flees. Napoleon reclaims the throne without firing a shot. It's called the 100 Days. 100 days from landing in France to his final defeat. The most audacious comeback in history. But Europe isn't having it. Britain, Prussia, Austria, Russia, they immediately form the 7th Coalition. They're going to crush Napoleon. Permanently this time. Napoleon has maybe 3 months before the full weight of Europe descends on France. He has one option: attack first. Defeat the British and Prussians before they can unite. Knock them out of the war before Austria and Russia arrive. It's audacious. Desperate. Classic Napoleon. June 15, 1815. Napoleon invades Belgium with 125,000 men. His plan is brilliant. The British army under Wellington is west of Brussels. The Prussian army under Blücher is east. They're separated. If Napoleon can drive between them, he can defeat each army separately. Classic divide and conquer. June 16th. Napoleon sends Marshal Ney to fight the British at Quatre Bras. Meanwhile, Napoleon himself attacks the Prussians at Ligny. At Ligny, Napoleon wins. Smashes the Prussian army. Blücher, the 72-year-old Prussian commander, has his horse shot out from under him. Gets trampled by cavalry. Barely survives. The Prussians retreat. They're beaten. They should be out of the war. But here's the thing. They retreat north. Toward Brussels. Toward Wellington. Napoleon thinks they're retreating east. Back to Prussia. He sends Marshal Grouchy with 33,000 men to pursue them. To make sure they keep running. This is the mistake that costs Napoleon everything. Because the Prussians aren't running away. They're regrouping. And they're going to come back. June 17th. Wellington retreats from Quatre Bras to a ridge near a village called Waterloo. He's chosen his ground carefully. It's classic Wellington reverse slope defense. Put your troops on the backside of a ridge so enemy artillery can't see them. Napoleon's army pursues. But there's a massive thunderstorm. Rain. Mud. The roads become rivers. Napoleon's artillery sinks into the mud. The advance slows. Wellington reaches the ridge. Deploys his army. Waits. Napoleon arrives and sees Wellington's position. He should attack immediately. But the ground is saturated. Mud everywhere. His artillery can't move. His cavalry will struggle. So Napoleon makes a decision. He'll wait until the ground dries. Let the sun bake the mud. Then attack. It's a reasonable decision. It's also fatal. Because every hour Napoleon waits is an hour the Prussians use to march toward Waterloo. Wellington knows the Prussians are coming. Blücher promised, "I'll be there, even if I have to crawl." Napoleon knows the Prussians are somewhere, but Grouchy is supposed to be keeping them away. Napoleon isn't worried. He should be. If you're enjoying this story of the ultimate showdown between history's greatest commanders, hit subscribe. This is Untold Battlefield. We cover the battles that define civilizations, the warriors who changed the world, and the moments that created history. Subscribe and let me know in the comments what battle you want to see next. Let me explain the armies. Because this is a clash of three different military systems. Napoleon's army is the famous Grande Armée. Infantry in columns. Heavy cavalry. Artillery. Combined arms at its finest. The infantry fight in columns, dense formations that can move fast and hit hard. The cavalry includes cuirassiers, heavy cavalry in breastplates, and lancers and hussars. Light, medium, heavy. Every type. And the artillery. Napoleon is an artilleryman by training. He loves his guns. He's assembled 246 cannon. He's going to use them to pound Wellington into submission. Then there's the Imperial Guard, Napoleon's elite troops. The old Guard veterans who've been with him for 20 years. The Middle Guard, the Young Guard. These are the best soldiers in Europe. They've never been defeated. They don't retreat. La Garde meurt mais ne s'y rend pas. The Guard dies but does not surrender. Wellington's army is different. It's British Redcoats, Portuguese and Dutch allies, King's German Legion. It's multinational. Only about a third are actually British. But those British infantry? They're professionals. They fight in lines, 2 ranks deep. Not columns. Lines. This means every man can fire. Maximum firepower. They use the Brown Bess musket. Not the most accurate weapon. But in volleys from a line, devastating. Wellington's cavalry is good but limited. His artillery is solid. But his real advantage is tactical genius. Wellington knows terrain. Knows how to use reverse slopes. Knows how to make a defensive position unbreakable. He's never lost a battle. Never. In the Peninsular War against French marshals, he won every single engagement. Napoleon has never fought Wellington before. He thinks British infantry are mediocre. He's about to learn otherwise. The Prussians? They're a beaten army. They lost at Ligny 2 days ago. They should be scattered. Demoralized. But Blücher is 72 years old and possibly insane. His troops call him Marshal Forward because he never retreats. After Ligny, covered in bruises, probably concussed, he drinks gin mixed with garlic, his remedy for everything, and starts marching. Not away from Napoleon. Toward Wellington. To help. His staff thinks he's crazy. His army is exhausted. They just lost a battle. They need to rest. Blücher doesn't care. He promised Wellington he'd come. So he's coming. This is the factor Napoleon doesn't account for. That a beaten 72-year-old Prussian will march through mud and exhaustion to show up at Waterloo. June 18th, 1815. 11:30 a.m. The battle finally begins. Napoleon delays the attack until mid-morning, waiting for the ground to dry. Those lost hours will haunt him. He opens with his grand battery, 80-plus cannon firing simultaneously at Wellington's Ridge. It's supposed to destroy the British lines, shatter their formations, create panic. It doesn't work. Wellington's troops are on the reverse slope, behind the ridge. The cannonballs fly over their heads or bury themselves in mud. Minimal casualties. Napoleon commits his infantry. Prince Jerome, Napoleon's brother, attacks Hougoumont Chateau on Wellington's right flank. It's supposed to be a diversion. Fix British troops in place. It becomes an all-day battle. Hougoumont is a fortified farmhouse. Stone walls. Gates. British guards hold it with 2,000 men. The French throw 10,000 plus men at Hougoumont over the course of the battle. They break through the north gate at one point. British officers and men force it shut again by hand. Fighting in the courtyard. The chateau catches fire. Wounded men burn to death inside. But the British guards hold it. All day. Every French attack is repulsed. This is supposed to be a diversion. Napoleon is committing more and more troops to this side battle. Troops he needs elsewhere. 1:30 p.m. The main attack begins. General d'Erlon's corps, 16,000 infantry in massive columns, advances across the valley toward Wellington's center. It looks unstoppable. Columns of French infantry, drums beating, eagles flying, marching straight at the British lines. Wellington's infantry is hidden on the reverse slope. The French crest the ridge and suddenly British redcoats stand up. 50 yards away. In perfect lines. The British fire. Volley after volley. Every man in the line shooting. Reload. Fire. Reload. Fire. The front ranks of the French columns collapse. They can't deploy from column into line under this fire. They're jammed together. Only the front men can fight. The rest are just targets. The attack stalls. The columns start to waver. Then Wellington's heavy cavalry charges. The Union Brigade, Royal Dragoons, Scots Greys, Inniskillings. 2,000 British heavy cavalry thunder down the slope into the French columns. It's devastating. The French infantry breaks. Runs. The cavalry pursues, cutting them down. Capturing French eagles, the regimental standards. It's a complete rout. The Union Brigade has just destroyed d'Erlon's corps. Captured thousands of prisoners. Seized artillery. It's an incredible victory. Then they keep going. They're supposed to stop at the French lines. Reform. Retreat back up the ridge. They don't. They're caught up in the charge. They pursue all the way to Napoleon's Grand Battery. Start sabering French gunners. And they're exhausted. Their horses are blown. They're scattered. Disorganized. French lancers counterattack. Catch the British cavalry when they're vulnerable. Cut them to pieces. The Union Brigade retreats in chaos. They've lost half their men, including their commander. The charge broke the French attack, but cost Wellington his heavy cavalry reserve. 3:30 p.m. Marshal Ney, Napoleon's most aggressive commander, sees what he thinks is the British army retreating. Wounded men being carried to the rear. Guns being pulled back. He thinks Wellington is breaking. This is his chance. He orders a cavalry charge. Not just one regiment. Not a brigade. The entire French cavalry. 5,000 horsemen. Cuirassiers, lancers, hussars. Every cavalryman Napoleon has. It's the largest cavalry charge in history up to that point. A tidal wave of horses and men. They thunder up the ridge. It's terrifying. It's magnificent. It's completely wrong. Because Wellington isn't retreating. His infantry is in squares. The British square formation, infantry in a hollow square, bristling with bayonets on all sides. It's the perfect anti-cavalry defense. Horses won't charge into a wall of bayonets. They just won't. They stop. They swerve. They mill around. The French cavalry circles the squares, looking for a gap, a weakness, finding nothing. British infantry fire volleys. French cavalry charges. Neither can break the other. Wellington's gunners run back to their cannons between charges. Fire into the massed cavalry. Then run back to the squares when the cavalry charges again. This goes on for hours. Cavalry charge after cavalry charge. 12 separate charges. Maybe more. Ney has 5 horses shot out from under him. 5. He's fighting on foot at one point. Grabs another horse. Charges again. The squares hold. Every single one holds. By 6 p.m., the French cavalry is shattered. Exhausted. The horses are dying of exhaustion. The men can barely lift their swords. And they've achieved nothing. The British line still holds. But Wellington is in trouble. His center is weakening. He's lost the Union Brigade. His infantry has been under fire for hours. Casualties are mounting. At 6 p.m., the French finally capture La Haye Sainte, a fortified farmhouse in the center of Wellington's line. The King's German Legion garrison runs out of ammunition, is overrun. Now French artillery can move up close. point-blank range. They start shredding Wellington's center. Gaps open in the line. The defense is cracking. Wellington has no reserves left. No cavalry. No fresh infantry. He's stretched as thin as possible. And that's when he looks east. Hoping. Praying. Where are the Prussians? Napoleon has been receiving reports all afternoon. Prussian troops spotted to the east. Getting closer. He detaches more and more troops to his right flank to hold them off. Troops he desperately needs to finish Wellington. The Prussians are attacking the village of Plancenoit on Napoleon's right rear. If they take it, they cut Napoleon's line of retreat. The young guard is fighting them house to house. Napoleon is fighting on two fronts now. Wellington in front. Prussians behind. The situation is deteriorating. But Wellington's line is cracking. If Napoleon can break the British in the next hour, he can still win. Turn on the Prussians with his full army. Defeat them separately. He has one card left to play. The Old Guard. The Imperial Guard infantry. The elite of the elite. The troops who've never been defeated. Napoleon orders them forward. 6 battalions of the Middle and Old Guard. His last reserve. His final gamble. If the Guard breaks Wellington's line, Napoleon wins. If they fail, the Guard has never failed. 7 p.m. The Imperial Guard forms up. Grenadiers in tall bearskin hats. Veterans of 20 years of warfare. They fought at Austerlitz, Jena, Friedland, Borodino. They've never retreated. Napoleon rides among them. The Guard will show them how to die. They advance in 2 columns. Up the slope. Through the smoke. Drums beating. Vive l'Empereur. They're marching toward what's left of Wellington's line. Tattered British infantry. Portuguese troops. Dutch-Belgian forces. Everyone is exhausted. Running out of ammunition. But Wellington has one more trick. British Guards Brigade is lying down on the reverse slope. Hidden. Waiting. The Imperial Guard reaches the crest. They're 50 yards from victory. Wellington shouts, "Now, Maitland. Now's your time." The British Guards stand up. Appear out of nowhere. 4 ranks deep. 300 men. And they fire. Point-blank volley into the head of the Guard column. The front ranks of the Imperial Guard collapse. Dozens dead in an instant. The column staggers. The British Guards fire again. And again. The Imperial Guard, who have never retreated, try to deploy. Try to return fire. But they're in column. Only the front can fight. They're being shredded. For the first time in their history, the Imperial Guard falls back. The cry spreads across the French army, "La Garde recule." The Guard retreats. The French army has watched the Guard advance. Their last hope. They're invincible heroes. And now they're falling back. Something breaks in the French. Not just morale. Psychology. The Guard doesn't retreat. That's impossible. If the Guard is retreating, panic spreads. Units start to dissolve. Officers lose control. Wellington sees it. He takes off his hat. Waves it in the air. The signal for general advance. The entire British and Allied line advances. Drums. Pipes. Cheering. They've been on defense all day. Now they attack. The French army collapses. Not retreating. Routing. Running. 7:30 p.m. Blücher's Prussians arrive on the battlefield in force. Fresh troops. 30,000 men who've been marching all day. They slam into Napoleon's right flank. The French are caught between Wellington advancing from the front and Prussians attacking from the side. It's a disaster. A rout. A catastrophe. The last squares of the Imperial Guard form up, refusing to run. They're surrounded. British and Prussians calling for surrender. General Cambronne, commanding a Guard square, is offered terms. According to legend, he replies, "La Garde meurt mais ne rend pas." The Guard dies but does not surrender. Some sources say he actually replied "murd." Shit, which is probably more accurate but less heroic. The Guard squares fight on. Are overwhelmed. Die where they stand. Napoleon is pulled away from the battle by his staff. The emperor wanted to die with the guard. They won't let him. They force him to flee. The Grande Army is destroyed. Shattered. It's no longer an army. It's a mob fleeing south. The Prussian cavalry pursues through the night, cutting down stragglers. Relentless. By midnight, it's over. Napoleon's final army is gone. The casualties tell the story. French losses: 25,000 dead and wounded, 8,000 captured. The army destroyed as a fighting force. Allied losses: British and Allies 15,000, Prussians 7,000. Heavy, but they won.